times, bad friends.
The boys are back. The boys are going to take this episode. It's been a long time coming. I feel like we've been talking a little too much. I feel like we're at this weird point where the podcast is taking off, but we just had our most successful podcast episode ever.
Correct.
But I feel like too, as we've been talking and kind of what made us decide to do this is like, I don't know. I feel like there's this big cultural and social shift or like split. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of wild stuff going on right now. So I think that was kind of a
lot of evil in the world going on right now that we're just kind of like picking sides on, and we should like not be doing that on either side.
Well, I think like the biggest thing that I've seen so far, and for me, like us being so old school, like face-to-face human communication and social interactions solve so many problems before they become problems, or even the faintest sign of a problem. And I feel like we've gotten so far away, or I feel like the only social interaction that we have, which honestly turns into conflict because you're behind a screen, is like everything's done through our phones and our computers and social media. And it's like, if I don't like something, I can say anything I want to that person or account or reply or comment without any repercussions. And then like, I just get off my phone and I expect all that negativity to just be able to go away, but it doesn't. Like, I just feel like, I mean, all the events we can get into and everything like that. And obviously with us being in like a very niche community, seeing kids in high schools and everything, I don't know. I just feel like there's this weird tension right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think everyone is so like divided and heated on their side. And exactly what you said, if people like to post and ghost, right? They post,
no doubt,
and then hop offline. Like, I did my part, but like that doesn't just stop. Like the comments keep going. Like you having this really controversial point and you post it and then like leaving, it makes you look bad because you're not defending your argument. If you have an argument,
exactly.
One, you probably shouldn't even have an argument. Like, both teams are not doing great right now, and
100%.
You demonizing one, thinking your side is the correct one on both. Like we need Jesus.
Well, I think like finding middle ground is one thing. Agreeing to disagree without being disagreeable is another thing. But I feel like most people are starting to get to the point to where it's becoming so polarized to where, no, I'm going to die for my beliefs or comments or all these, allegations, whether they're false or not. I'm going to throw something out there because I'm becoming so defensive about my point that I'll never be able to see another point of view, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's no agreement and there's no middle ground to be found. And I feel like that's probably more dangerous than anything else. It's like, no, I believe what I believe and there's no way you're going to be able to change it. And so I'm going to let you know that there is no chance for me to find middle ground on anything like that, whether it's politics, religion, what's going on, is this right? And then I feel like too, like you said, when you have that opinion and then you just run away from it and you don't elaborate on it, or you don't allow someone to poke holes in it, or you don't allow someone to find, more importantly, the things that are wrong with some of the viewpoints that you may have, me included too. Like I tell people things and I'm like, what do you think about that? Like, what's wrong with that? Let me see, poke some holes in my schedule and stuff like that, or even down to my core beliefs and everything. And I feel like we're not getting to that. Like, we're getting everything out that we want to say. That's an opinion that's completely biased and it's not being checked or met in the middle or anything like that. So it gets further away. And then from there, like, that doesn't leave you when you say something and you go straight to criticizing and you get extremely defensive. Like, that doesn't just leave you when you try to ghost away from people. You take that into your relationships, you take that into your day-to-day conversations, and then more and more people get affected from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And people they're not having these conversations to listen. They're having these conversations to wait to get their point across.
Exactly.
So like take Charlie Kirk's thing before he died. Like, he would go on college campuses debating people, and like people would come up and give good arguments, I think, either from like being ignorant to the cause or just being curious, but they wouldn't like wait to hear an answer. They would just be like ready to cock back at something he said so he could just start an argument. Like, that's probably why he was there, is to like start those arguments and like challenge people's thinking. But
yeah,
we don't live in a society where like you can learn from someone else if they think differently than you. You just have to like fight for your side. And it just, what you saw how that ended, like, people are going to fight to the death to defend what they think is right. And there's some casualties along the way.
Yeah, I just think like that's probably something that scares me the most because if you can't have words or opinions or more importantly criticism of something without being met with violence or an overreaction, I think that's where it gets the scariest. You know what I'm saying? Like if you and me were going to give opinions and then we agree on, well, actually, I kind of agree with that, or I can meet you there, or we can meet halfway in there, or maybe we'll never agree on, topic A, but topic B sounds a little bit better. If it always resorts to you're wrong no matter what, I'm only listening to respond or to make sure that any point that you're going to make gets shot down. I think that's where we get to this point right here where it turns into violence. It turns into people ghosting each other. It turns into people getting extremely divided. And then now when you try to have a conversation with someone, it's like, no, 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 they just see you as the other side. They don't see you as a person. They don't see me as a person with an opinion and maybe a little bit different than them. They just see us as the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I can like we could debate right now. I have like two topics coming to my head that like we do
Heck
the
yeah.
same thing. Like me and you, and it's like a joke most of the time, but like we're pretty set in
Right.
our beliefs. So like we don't have to get into this because we've done it 1,000 times on this podcast. But the whole Michael Jordan LeBron thing, like
100%.
I'm never gonna change your mind, and you're not listening, trying to learn about why I'm correct. You just are like trying to no Jordan. He's the greatest. He was in Space Jam, the good one. Bah! Like
He was in a
it's
movie.
not like or like a better example, and this is one of my hot topics for the episode. I think, and you're not gonna agree with this because you're a football coach. Taylor Swift is a better lyricist than George Strait.
I knew you were going to go straight to that. When you put that in one of your hot topics, I was like, Colin, there's going to be some heavy conversations today. There's going to be some words said that I wish that we could take back.
Look,
And-
you're not even
and
listening. You're already defending.
One
Okay,
of those words is, ugh, it's just what I know. But kind of going back to the Charlie Kirk thing, I think what I want to ask you is, does it scare you? And it listen, even taking a step back further from that, like it doesn't have to be a guy like Charlie Kirk. Now, I think it makes it even scarier that it is a guy who tried to do so much good, knowing that he was walking into people that saw him as nothing but the other side. He saw him, every negative thing you just covered. He walked into Kyle Field being with the University of Texas shirt on as the away team, being hated by every single person that was laying eyes on him everywhere he went. So he knew exactly what he was doing. He was going into a pit of evil of people that were never going to want to see his side, that were always listening to respond as negatively as possible, make sure that he did not have a single good point. So I think what scares me the most is the type of guy that he was and how he was seeking to find middle ground, but was met with conflict. So for you, like, and I guess I'll tell you what I think and then just kind of get what you think about that. And I know we're kind of
let's clear that up though.
Talk
Like
to me.
his Charlie Kirk's rallies were mostly his supporters. He would like
Yes.
if he would see someone talk, like come up to the microphone, the people would boo him, like, or people would boo like the person asking questions. Like most of the people that were supporting him, he would just
Yep.
invite outsiders. So like I think it was you were saying that he was just in like a whole like negative echo chamber. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think we just worded it weird. I think we're on the same page though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He was seeking out like the biggest thing that he disagreed with. So
Yes.
his biggest premise was that college was a scam. So therefore he went to college campuses
Right.
to go challenge their beliefs, or more importantly, the beliefs that they did not have that were just basically being instilled by these institutions or whatever. So you're right. Like obviously, like a lot of people come out to support him, but he did welcome people that disagreed with him to come to the front of the line to talk to him,
Correct.
to hear their points out, and more often than not, almost agree with them, but then challenge them of, well, why do you think that way? And why am I wrong type deal. So for me,
Yeah.
like what I was going to kind of get out there is to be, and just to be blunt with it, to be killed because of trying to meet someone halfway, to be killed for saying words. Like, I think that's what terrified me the most. And like, obviously this is kind of the biggest thing that's been the news cycle, or however you want to look at it on whatever network or whatever. I think that's what scared me the most. Like when you saw it and then now obviously being able to marinate on it for a little bit, like what's your reaction to kind of why everything happened?
Yeah, what scares me the most about the whole situation, and like this is like not just like a podcast, like what genuinely scares me the most is the echo chamber. Like people on both sides can be like, Charlie was so positive and so like he only wanted to like support like rational things. But if you have an algorithm that just shows you nonstop of the negative things he said, that's what made someone decide to go and kill him, because of things that they saw that he said that they didn't agree with.
Exactly.
And I can't promise you, but I can pretty close dang say it was a snippet or something. It wasn't the whole conversation. And that's what's scary is people can take pieces of little things and not know the whole story, already formulated opinion, and carry out an act of aggression like that over something that wasn't probably the case.
Well, and not just that, it's like, not that they saw that happen in person. They didn't hear that clip in person. They didn't hear that snippet in person. They didn't hear that string of words in person. They saw it on a video. Like, they didn't have to meet this guy one time to have the most negative view and then turn around, more importantly, and try to carry out an act of violence against someone that they don't know, that they haven't seen in person. And more importantly, they only saw clips, like a minute clip of the thousands of hours that he has put on the internet. And like you said, not only formulated opinion, but wanted to carry out violence because they were so scared of how this guy was shaped in the media, which also kind of leads me. It's like, that's why conversation is so important, is because now we've been able to manipulate the meaning of words. Like, words matter, word choice matters, word association matters. And I think we get to the point to where it's super dangerous and we're fighting over what words you can use, more importantly, what words you can't use. But I think at the end of the day, if you associate someone with, I don't know, a fascist, or like you call somebody a communist or a Nazi or something, like, those people were legitimately evil. Like, they epitomized what it was to be evil back in the late 30s, early 40s, when those guys are killing millions of people, dude.
Correct.
And then you associate that. So, like, me not knowing you, only seeing the people that I agree with, associate you with someone that's killed millions of people. Well, yeah, like me having two boys, I don't want that to happen. So if you play the word association game, and I think that you're basically someone that's equivalent to someone that was murdering people, then yeah, what do you think our response is going to be? Not only, using our words, but more importantly, we're going to try to use whatever action we can to make sure that a person like you doesn't continue to be associated with someone that's going to try to eradicate the population. Like,
So let me ask you a question and think on this. Do you
uh,
think as a culture, we are addicted to outrage?
I think we're addicted to emotions because, like I said, I can get on Twitter and, dude, if we meet up in real life, you would choke me out in 10 seconds. Like, you would Chuck Liddell my butt. But on Twitter, I can call you whatever I want. I can get a reaction out of you. I can get exactly how I feel out, knowing that there's going to be zero repercussions, zero consequences. So I think we're addicted to emotion. I think we're addicted to control because we have phones that if I click one button, it gives me everything that I want. If I get on the internet and I'm on Wi-Fi or I have cell service, it's going to load and it's whatever I want to look at. It's whatever I want to download. It's whatever I want to click on, whatever I want to ingest with my algorithm. So I would say that we're probably more controlled by the fact of being in control and feeling like we have control of our emotions and how we express that and everything like that.
Okay,
And
let me
that's
take a
dangerous
step further.
because, gotcha.
Let me take it a step further. If that's true, and I think you're right, I think you're 100% right. If that's true and emotions dictate everything and it makes us act in obscene ways, but without knowing it, we're online debating with bots that don't show emotion, that know how to invoke big emotions in us.
Exactly.
That's where things get crazy.
No doubt. It was the thing, like, I think when Elon Musk, whenever he bought X, he said, like, what, 70% of the entire accounts on
Yeah.
Twitter at that point were bot farms, dude. Like,
That's warfare.
foreign bot, dude, that's 100% warfare, because what's exactly what you said right there. Like, those bots or fake accounts or things that there's nobody behind, they now invoke me to get angry at you for something that a bot said, because I associate that with you. So I think you're best friends with that account because maybe you agreed with it or anything like that because you thought it was a real person. So now someone that or something that doesn't exist just got two things that do exist and that should be able to work together to now fight each other, if that makes sense. So, like, I think that's the most dangerous part, is you don't even have to use somebody like me just to go piss you off. I can use this little robot right here.
So, okay. I think that
Keep going. I love this. This is good.
I think that you agree with the bot, like that this is true. And I definitely do too, that there are,
Yeah.
they
no
said
doubt.
70%, and we can fact check that, of Twitter was bots. And then they said that like 18 of the top 20 Christian pages on Facebook were
Dude, that's
bots.
crazy to me.
And so, like, if someone tells you that, like you're considered a skeptic or a conspiracy theorist, even though there's data proving it. Like you're
Yep.
in conspiracy land. And even the Charlie Kirk thing, it came out all this stuff that like he just had this huge interview with Israel and things went south, and like, or the person that shot was inside his own whatever. So you have to be a skeptic. So when is skepticism healthy versus destructive?
Yeah, I think that's what we've created too, is now I can ask questions, whether they're relevant or realistic or not. And I think it still comes down to like, I can express an opinion. Like to me, okay, this is a good rule. Well, we talked about this, like being a free speech absolutist. But unfortunately, the consequence to free speech is free speech. So from me saying what I want or having the opinions or expressing a reaction or anything like that, I have to deal with the consequences. And I think now it's been so minimalized to where I don't have to deal with reactions to things, or I don't have to deal with consequences to real people. So therefore
Mhm.
we can question everything, even though nothing is in question. So I think sometimes, and me being a conspiracy theorist and then that being kind of like a, to me being a stock
Whoa,
really new. I know.
whoa.
Let's not get crazy here. But like when you do question the big things, unfortunately that kind of waterfalls down into the little things that maybe don't have any loose ends or anything. Now, I think there's some weird stuff. I mean, we can keep backing up to that or whatever, but I kind of like where we are right now. But I think that unfortunately, I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that, like right here, it says at one point, almost in like 2017, 62% of them, 62% of Twitter accounts could be linked back to bot farms that were non United States affiliated. So it's like, at the same time, like, why don't we question everything? Because if you start agreeing with everything, it's people, over half the time that are posting that aren't even in the same area as you. So it's like,
Correct.
it's no longer me and you agreeing or disagreeing. It's people kind of infiltrating the social networks and almost pitting us against each other. So,
It's a
but I
social
think you can
media
also
civil
swing
war.
too far. Exactly. But then you can swing too far. And it's like, man, Charlie Kirk was killed by Israel with their space lasers and stuff. It's like, okay, well, let's not swing the pendulum too back far. But I think we always need to meet in the middle of, is this true and why? Or is this not true and why? Are there things about it that are true? Are there things about this certain situation that aren't true? How many more things are true than not, or vice versa, if that makes sense? So I think it's just finding a healthy balance of questioning stuff without trying to just find issues that aren't there. Like, don't try to make stuff up, just try to get to the bottom of every issue.
Yeah, and I don't even think it has to be that deep. Like I asked you if you believed in the bot thing, and you looked up that it is true, and I think I like can spot them now. And maybe that's
Yeah.
pride talking, but I see like all of these clearly fake pages and posts talking about like, if you don't like Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl, you're a racist. Or if you, and I'm like, this is not a real person's
They're like,
thought, but it wants to make us
yeah,
fight against each other. Nobody thinks that.
exactly.
We just don't
Because
speak
it
Spanish.
works. Yeah, exactly. Like he says it, and you're like, listen, you have 4 months, and listen, that's not going to change my thought process either way. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to have no idea what he's talking about, because in 4 months, that is not enough time to be able to learn everything that I want to learn.
No,
So it's like,
Duolingo, I did for 6 months. Not even
yeah,
close.
or just hold your phone up. Boom, he's saying it, and you're like, oh wow, he's talking about that. Like that's the same thing Cardi B talks about. Or it's like, hold up, it's like, man, this is way better than Taylor Swift. Anyway, so like what I was trying to get at,
It's really not though.
but like I think you always go back to the root of it of me and you can have that conversation. It can almost turn into a joke. But I feel like when people start to overreact, they either overreact or they realize that, oh, I'm not responsible for the consequences of what I'm about to say. The price of saying what you want to say are the consequences that come with saying what you want to say. So understanding that words have power, words have meaning, and words get associated with the people that you're talking about using those words. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, a very dumbed down example is somebody saying, I have a bomb. And they have the freedom to say something stupid like, I have a bomb. And then the
Yeah.
consequences are going to be really, really
Yeah.
bad.
Or you
But
get slammed on the floor and taken to jail.
yes, or okay, this is the last. We have to get off Charlie Kirk because we've been here a while. But
Yeah.
the news people who are just like said what they said in open broadcast, and like they have freedom of speech to say that, But then there were
Yep.
consequences, and then they got removed from the air, and people are mad. They're like, this is not freedom of speech. I'm like, yes, it is. That's why he got to say it. Like,
100%.
this is not a scripted thing. Like, you have free. It's just so frustrating. Okay, we got to get off Charlie Kirk. This is we could do this all day.
Well, I think we're using that as kind of more of the topic of, talking to each other. Communication is key. Not overreacting. Not getting too emotional or wanting to be in control of everything. Like, just don't be afraid to have a conversation with obviously people that you agree with and you enjoy and you love their company and everything like that. Like, don't be around a bunch of energy vampires your entire life. But at the same time, find someone you disagree with and just have a conversation with them. Don't get in a fight on Twitter. Don't post about them on Facebook. Don't subtweet them or anything like that, or try to go on a Reddit rabbit hole to find something about them to get them arrested. Just have a conversation with people. Like, that's all it comes down to.
Let's
Talk
get
to
a
people you
guest.
don't agree
Our
with.
next guest needs to be someone we don't agree with, and see if we can practice what we preach. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, because I'm sitting here like, you're so full of crap. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey,
Get
that's a
someone,
great point of view. I'm really good.
Yeah. Hello, brother.
Dude, that's a great idea because we would. Oh man, you talk about having to eat your own words. Sometimes, like, dude, I would totally be okay with that. We could find some common ground. I'm like,
Dude,
I don't
freaking
agree with that. You're full of
Love
freaking
is
crap,
love,
dude.
brother.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
kill who you want as long as you're you. Your truth, Matt.
dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
dude. Okay, so another thing that happened, and this is big. Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
This was a really big thing, and I want you to discuss it because I learned about this after you told me. AI is getting nutty with the
Dude.
deep fake videos.
Wild. So
Zora?
Sora 2 is the new, I think it's Meta that released it, but it's a new video platform for AI.
You can't tell.
And dude, I went down a rabbit hole on thread, and like half of them are funny. Okay, now let me give a really funny example. It's like, use certain that once again, you have to have a balance on when you use certain things. So I went down about 85 different situations and videos of like Stephen Hawking flying a plane and wrestling, and it's like I saw a cage match between him and Helen Keller, and it's like, wow, that's hilarious. Somebody's wasting a lot of time. I wouldn't do that personally, but I will enjoy watching that.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I start seeing how now they're able to fabricate body cam footage of someone getting arrested in like a Target or
Yes.
something like that. My mind, once again, because I like to question everything, but then at the same time, it's like the people at the top, I think, are worth being questioned pretty much all the time because they're just normal human beings that you give a lot of power to. And if you want to look up a really, really scary example, look up the 1970 Stanford prison experiment, and that will absolutely rock your world when you give basic people a lot of power and exactly what they do with it. Anyway, so like for me, it was super entertaining, but the fact that, and I think it's because I just don't understand it, like the AI, the quantum computing, all this kind of stuff that we use on the technology side, and like all these guys that talk about it, man, this could be used for so many things. But then my mind automatically turns, and once again, I'm probably being a complete hypocrite right now. Then my mind does a complete 180. I'm like, wow, if they can do that right now with just the second version of it, imagine in 5 years, like, what's that going to look like?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and the videos are fun, and that's how they like weaken us.
That's how they start. Exactly. That's how they water it down. They dilute it a little bit. They throw it at you. They're like, look, it's just Stephen Hawking and Helen Keller in a WWE cage match. Like, what's the big deal?
Dude, it's not hurting anyone. But then you don't know what's real and false. So you're looking at a security camera of a event or a crime scene, and you don't know if it's real, right?
Dude.
And that's why, okay, last time. We're not even going to go back there. Let's talk about something else. I had the thought, based off what we were talking about earlier, should investigations be more public because of all of the deep fakes and AIs and one-sided journalism? If it was more public and people who were there were able to contribute, or people like McKinsey who just do research, would that help a situation or hurt a situation? It affects the families, it affects the people involved. Like, where's the line, and like, should that be a deciding factor?
I think you need as much help as possible. Like, whenever I watched the movie Patriot Day about the Boston Marathon bombing, and they had that crazy moment where they had the pictures of the two guys and they were going to release them because they were like, we need the public's help. There's Bostonians out there that are going to be able to help us identify these guys in absolutely no time. There's somebody that was standing next to him, family member or whatever. I mean, to me, I think you throw all the information out there, you let people run with it. And then I think at the end of the day, if you just allow some time, I think the stupid things are going to weed themselves out. And I think the things that start to match up and you get 2 or 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 100 people that start agreeing with this one premise, I think the cream rises to the top, if that makes sense. So like for
Would
me,
that
if you
make
throw it out there,
journalism more accountable if all the information's public and they couldn't lie?
yeah, because I think the more people start agreeing with, well, no, you say that, and then that's how the mainstream media is controlled or anything like that. Wow. Okay, but first,
You don't
what
have
do
to
you
have the
think?
right answer.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I'm just
What do
talking
you
as I
think about that? Like, throw all the information out there. Like, how would you see that working out? Like you said, keep everybody honest. What do you mean by that?
I think like first news is usually wrong news, right?
Yep.
So
Because
if
people trying to be first for sure. I think if you slow people down, like nobody can report on this for 48 hours and then go. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, and
Can,
I think people want to get their story out to make some money, clickbait, clickbait, clickbait.
no doubt.
And then
No doubt.
the people who see their story first usually subscribe to their line of thinking, Fox News, NBC, whatever, so they're going to cater it that way. But if everything is public, like the police, the officers giving the press conference immediately saying, "This is what we know. We don't know a lot, but this is what
But
we
this is
know."
what we know 100%. This is what
Like,
we know with absolute certainty. We're not guessing about anything. We're not making assumptions. Like, here it is. Here's all the evidence we
yes.
have. You
The
have
news is
48
finding out
hours.
as we find out. So, like, there's
Exactly.
not going to be if something's different than what this investigator just says, like, I'm not going to count that as fact because why would they know what just information just came out?
Well, and I think this is what scares me too. It's like, to me, I think that's where AI can be extremely beneficial because what it can do is it can scan through all those headlines. And let's say that, mom gets robbed at gunpoint for her car. Well, you go on Fox News, mom gets robbed at gunpoint in her car. You go
Yes.
on another network and it's like, single mom who's struggling gets robbed by greedy man. And no, 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 take that one down. This is what we know. We don't know the motive, so don't even talk about or therefore assume a motive. Just report it this way with the facts that we have. And then as we learn more, like you said, you'll learn more, we learn more at the same time. And then as we continue to, I don't know, relay statistics or anything else that kind of comes about that, then you can report on it, but you can only report what we know. Now, is that a slippery slope? Probably. But I think for me, I would rather see, okay, real time updates. Everybody's kind of reporting the same thing with a little bit of details. Maybe spin that a little bit. Then all of a sudden they come out and there's 15 different stories just from the first initial story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but like trying to pick apart my own argument, like what gets put to the public and what doesn't. There's a billion
Exactly.
stories that happen every day, whether it's politics, whether it's murder, whether it's drugs, whether it's things happening in schools that are illegal. Like there's a lot of really hot topics that could be reported. So what takes precedent? And then that's when the mainstream media will be like, okay, well, you didn't report on this, so you must be a
Exactly. Like, I think everything that you would do, I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So like, okay, if I report everything across the board and we can only report it this way, then once again, you're kind of just aligning every single outlet and every single person to a particular narrative that's all they can report on and they can't really spin from there, give opinions or nothing subjective now takes over. It's all just reported this way. So is that too much control at the end of the day? Like, is it one of those things where AI is just going to start sweeping everything and there's just one controlled outlet that AI is in ultimate control of? Like, is that the direction that it could head to?
I'm muted. What's crazy is the idea we have of AI is going to be so different in the next 2 years,
Dude,
right?
yeah, well, I think who was it? I want to say maybe it was that same Altman guy from OpenAI. He said like every 7 months, like
Mm-hmm.
there's exponential changes in everything that they're able to do and the capabilities and everything. So it's like even the very limited understanding that we do have over right now, I don't know, this time next week, they could just, and then once again, gosh, this is just where I'm trying to keep a balance. I'm trying not to eat my own words in this entire podcast, but
But you're kind of
like,
hungry. You're kind of hungry.
well, yeah, I mean, I go for a little snack, baby. I love me
I
a little
could eat.
cosmic brownie every once. I gotta eat. But like now, it's like, do we know like what percentage tip of the iceberg type analogy do we actually know about what we're capable of with AI technology? Because the only example that we have is China. Now, granted, there's like no regulation there, but that seems to be the only place that's kind of the front runner to be a little bit better than we are because they don't care about their people and they can do whatever they want. And, you don't have to jump through any kind of hoops to do anything that you want, even if it's detrimental to the people. But from there, you have like a social credit score and complete government control. And now it's kind of filtered everything up to where AI kind of makes the rules. So that kind of leads into what you were thinking. like, does this start to dip into, does it go from a social aspect to more of like a spiritual aspect when we get a little too deep into this?
Well, let's find out right now. Okay.
Ooh,
So we're gonna have a
okay.
new segment called Hot Topic presented by Summer Moon Coffee. So I'm gonna throw you a
Love our new
question,
sponsor.
and it's
I'm so
spicy,
ready.
possibly friendship
I
ending,
love
not
me.
for us, but
Golly. And
we're
that's
gonna
all for good
I'm
times.
gonna throw you straight to the fire and see what happens. I
Okay.
want your take on the new law that was passed about the oh my gosh, the 10 commandments being posted in the classroom.
Yeah. Wow. Great question. Ooh, like my raw reaction to it is I thought I was going to like it a little bit more than I do seeing it. I don't know. That's just kind of my raw reaction to it. Now, do I think that people that don't necessarily have a moral code to live by can benefit from the 10 commandments? Yes. Oh, man. Wow, dude. That's a great question. Do I think there's a better way to maybe give people that foundation to start living by than telling them not to have false idols or anything without them necessarily having an understanding of what that is? Maybe love thy neighbor, um, treat others the way you want to be treated, golden rule. Now, I am all for teaching people the foundation of Christianity without a doubt in my entire mind, and I will be very open and public about that. But do I think there's a better way to lay the foundation for someone who's just looking for a place to start? Absolutely. I think there's something a little bit better than the 10 commandments. Does that make sense? Or do I just kind of talk in circles and avoid it?
I think so, but also I don't think these people are looking for a place to start. I think these are in like schools. I think they're just trying to learn math.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think there's a time and place and the whole separation of church and state. Now, I will have a conversation about it 100%, but you're right. They go from like they're there to learn basic, should be there to learn basic trades. There's so much I'd fix about the education system, but I don't want to get fired. But they should go there to learn a trade. They should go there to learn real world math skills and everything they need to learn to make sure they're not in debt by the time they're 30 or 35 years old. And I don't think that's the place where on the wall they look over and they're like, oh, maybe I need to read a little bit more about this. Maybe that's for your extracurriculars like FCA and different student organizations that they can be able to say, like, maybe it's something to where, hey, are you interested in, I don't know, are you interested in having good spiritual conversations, that go a little bit deeper with a group of people? Maybe you push more of like the groups and clubs and maybe you start to sponsor more of those and you give more federal money to that. I just think there could be a different way, I don't know. I
So
love it.
you're opposed to the 10 commandments in the classroom.
I don't know. Like I'm not that you want to force anything. And I think there's a reason that Christianity is the most hated religion in the entire world because I think there's truth to it. And I think that there's a reason that I think that you can absolutely dismantle everybody else's religion except for Christianity. I think that's why it's under fire by every single other branch of religion. But Christianity is not necessarily looking to battle anybody else because I think that we stand on truth. Now, I think the way that we deliver that truth, I think we have to be careful because I think that's, and to be honest, too, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people kind of, stray away from going to church or religion or talking to people about it. Cause it just feels like we're going to hold them down and say, listen, like read this, do this, look at this. So I just think I love the idea, but I think the presentation can be a little bit better.
Hmm.
What do you think? Let me know.
No, this is your hot topic. I'm gonna pick apart
I
your whole
know.
argument.
No.
Didn't Jesus come to the Pharisees to step on toes and go against
That's what I'm saying. Like he ate dinner with the tax collectors. He went into the war zones and did that.
No,
Now,
I'm saying
I think
Jesus went against the cultural standards, pushing his like what was
no,
true.
yeah, no doubt. Like he was once again, he was in enemy territory all the time preaching the gospel. And man, I'm trying not to word this in like a way that's like, ooh, that sounds terrible. I just think there's a better way to kind of lay it out
I'm
to
setting you
everybody.
up for failure, my guy.
I know you are. I know you are. But like to me, like, don't you think where you're going to start is not there? I think you start by having a conversation of, hey, how do I show a little bit more love? Because hopefully, like, I don't have to come up to you and initiate any kind of conversation. Hopefully, the way that I talk and act and treat you, you just naturally have that inclination to ask me, like, man, like, you seem like such a happy person. Like, what's your secret? Boom. There is your segue. There's your starter kit. There's how you strike up the conversation.
But
I don't
people
think it's
don't
staring at
talk
a,
like that.
well, I mean, people can have conversations and stuff. And I
But
think
no one's
that
like,
you can,
you're happy. What's the source of your happiness? They're just like, ew, that guy's
I don't
weird
know,
or that
man.
guy's
Like,
happy.
like I think people see like people like me, like I'm pretty much bubbly all the time and I will say hello to I try to say hello to all 739 kids in our school every single time. And I'll get looks and I'll get people asking me like, dang, coach, like, why are you happy all the time? Perfect segue into the way that I can be able to lay it out to them. And even then, it's like I can tell it makes kids' days when I walk by and they don't see us. They probably have not said a single word to another person, and another person probably hasn't said a single word to them, and all they see is me joyfully walking down the hallway saying, "Hey, what's up, man? You having a good day?" Like, "Hey, have a good day." Like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Man, I like that backpack." Like, "Man, you've been working out." Like, I just throw in like random stuff. So if that's the only positivity they get in their life, I think you can easily spin that into a conversation where you can kind of lay it out the right way.
Well, I think that was a good first segment for Hot Topics presented by Summer
Listen,
Moon.
by
I
Summer Moon
think
Coffee, come get
I
some.
I
I
think
know the
I
owner.
threw you to the
Love
wolves.
her to death. You did. So okay, now that it's kind of done, I'm off the hot seat. Like, what do you think about that? Can I flip the question around on you too?
Oh no,
I want to get your opinion.
we
No, we
I
spent too much time on it. We got to move on.
we how are we gonna get to the fake moon landing if we stay here forever? You know what I'm saying?
If you can't start with the 10 Commandments, you can't start with the fact that Neil Armstrong cannot put his hand on the Bible. I don't know. What do you think about, like, of all things to be able to choose to show that love, to go into enemy territory like Jesus did and preach something that ultimately got him hung on a cross?
Yeah.
It's like, is that the best way to start the conversation? Is that the best way to just get somebody to see something that has to do with Jesus?
Of course not. Of course it's not. That's definitely not
Yeah,
the right way. A force is never the right answer. Like as a Christian, are you supposed to like deny that because it's going to hurt people's feelings or it's not somebody's religion and it's not the best way? Or
exactly.
do you put little marks throughout your life and throughout your world or throughout your classroom that give people a look on what you believe in so that they can ask questions based off that?
100%, because we're there to plant the seed. We're not there to water it. We're not there to make sure that it grows the way we want it to grow. So at the end of the day, is like, is that me being selfish? Because you're right. Somebody may see that, even though they may not come up to me directly and say, "Hey, what's that about?" In
Hmm.
their mind, something's going to fester of, "Oh, I wonder what that's about." And then maybe they look it up, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, like, it's just on us to plant that seed. So is that selfish of me saying that because I'm not, that plants 739 seeds every single day at Gatesville High School, because kids are going to see that in some capacity at some point in their school career. I don't know. To me, it's like, I think you just read maybe Jesus loves you. And I think that can spark up a much quicker conversation because it appeals directly to that emotion that we were talking about, but in a good way. Somebody tells me without me saying a single word to me that they love me, I'm instantly curious and I want to ask a follow-up question. You know what I'm saying? Instead of maybe reading something.
Is it different than a teacher wearing a cross necklace, even though they're not talking about it and it's not displayed somewhere? And it's just a visual effect of their religion.
That's kind of almost something that I like because it allows someone to react to it without having to like give a reaction, if that makes sense. Like, they can look at the cross and they can look at something very subtle, but very consistent every single day. Yes, the 10 Commandments are consistent, but if I don't necessarily understand a couple of the words in there, then it's not going to make it any better for me to understand it. I know what a cross is. I know what love means. So if I see the representation of the cross, or I see that somebody loves me and I see those words that I can easily recognize, I think that's going to resonate a little bit faster with someone. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
just my thought. I'm not
No,
saying wrong, right, or indifferent.
I don't stand by like I just wanted to push back and have a
No, no
conversation on
doubt.
it. I'm not giving my opinion on it. That's why it's your hot topic. I
Hey,
just wanted
hey,
to ask
hey,
questions that
presented
would
by
kind of
Summer
dig
Moon.
us a little deeper. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like making coffee at Summer Moon. You do it
Yes.
perfectly every single time.
Are you gonna
Summer Moon
post the
coffee.
recipe for everyone to see? No, you're not gonna do
That's why
that.
yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna
not
push
called
my
"This is how
coffee
you make
beliefs
it."
on you.
My coffee beliefs on you. So what? You like it a little sweet? That's your thing, dude.
That's your
No, but
thing, baby.
I don't know. Like, it sounds so. Oof, it just sounds so taboo to almost be critical of, I guess, the means of being able to do it. I guess the direction. But to me, like, I'm just glad something is being done. I don't think it's infringing on anything because it's not telling you to salute a certain way every single time you see the poster. Like, you're just reading words at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's not driving you or forcing you to do some sort of action. Like, what's kind of weird to me in school that we still do, to be completely honest with you? Like, I
Say it.
love the idea of it because I think we need a little bit more of this because we're trying to be like way too diverse. I feel like no matter who you are, like, you're in the United States of America. Like, if I was in Ireland, I would be proud to be Irish. If I'm in wherever it is, anyway, I think the pledge is really weird because they almost force you to stand up and just recite this thing no matter what. Like you
There we
don't have a
go.
choice
Now
necessarily
you're
in the
cooking the
situation.
left
No, it's
leaning.
just like, so if you're gonna force stuff like that without there being true meaning behind it, then what's the big deal about the 10 Commandments being on the wall? That's not forcing you to do anything reactionary to it, by the way. All it is something that can just be, out of the way, and it's just words for you to read.
So
at
you
the very
hate
least.
America and the 10 Commandments is what I got. Okay, so we'll
Amen.
move on.
Here
We'll
we
move
are.
on
We've
from here.
arrived.
That's
I'm
what I
getting out
wanted.
of here,
All right,
baby.
thank you for listening
Congratulations.
today. I'm looking for a new co-host in our awesome.
Justin is on his way. He has just had his passport pulled by the government. AI just said, yeah, that's too much. That's probably why we got banned on YouTube, because we're being a bunch of jerks over
Can
here.
you believe we got banned on YouTube?
That is
for what?
unreal. So, hey, explain that, by the way, because hey, talk about your product, because Colin, aka the Good Times Brad Friends representative lawyer, has been fighting for this channel, has been fighting his butt off for this channel. Fill us in,
Dude,
Colin. Fill us in on that.
I got an email the other day that said YouTube has banned our account, took down all of our videos.
Took our stuff off YouTube, dude.
Yes. Wait, let me look. I have in our group text. The reasoning was
unreal.
insane. It was because we violated. Oh, here we go.
Violated. Jeez.
This is the email from YouTube. Hi, Good Times Bad Friends. We have reviewed your content and found crazy
words matter, dude. Severe
repeated violations of spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy.
Deceptive practices.
We
were scamming
have
people to go
removed
get
your
free
channel from YouTube.
Dude, that is unreal. Like, no strikes, no warnings, no detail. Hey, in episode 7, minute 32, you guys were talking about this, and judging from our AI platform, we've scanned it, we've looked up all the public records, and that is misinformation. I'd be like, dang, that sucks. Dude, no explanation at all. And they take our channel down without any strikes or anything. Because I'm sure there's not anything worse than it. Because I'm sure Nick Fuentes doesn't say anything worse than what we say.
We put in a lot of hours on this thing.
A lot of hours. We get a lot of really good guests. Hey, we just had our best episode to date, by the way. Ding, 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 ding. People just be hating, dog.
People be hating, and we put that episode up, and we get, maybe Mark's the problem.
You know
Mark,
what?
you're not the problem. Come back.
Yeah, come back. We're going to need you to be on at least 6 more times. You McKenzie, you're going to
hot. And so I reached out to the YouTube community people through a lot of different services, and I finally got a response, and I sent a very angry ChatGPT filled email.
Nice. Because you need to make sure it was still professional and it sounded good.
Correct. But I also spend a lot of hours editing and a lot of hours making little clips and shorts and videos. And for them to say I'm scamming people, sir.
How? You like it? In what world, when you control something, do you not have to give a reason, especially when you punish someone?
We're not even selling anything. What are we scamming you out of? Brain cells?
Nothing. Probably. Are you wasting a lot of hours getting a couple good laughs from us, but not a lot of information? Yes. Was the thing about the bots thing real? Yes. Finally, that we're providing some factual information. Absolutely. But like, that's the scary thing, is like, you're in control of this entity, and then it just becomes this thing, this massive information. And now you are in control of either having or removing people off of, I don't know, any kind of just vague umbrella reason that you want to give to be able to deplatform or take somebody off, when there's people creating real problems out there.
There's
like,
people creating real problems on YouTube. I think in a past life, there's some dark stuff on YouTube, and
I'm still trying to get our old channel taken down, but it can't work. So that's why I'm a lot more proud about this one and the other stuff. Trying to report it pretty much every day. Nah, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and leave that one behind. But it's like, man, like, we're the biggest threat to YouTube, to where our channel's got to get taken down in light of all this stuff that we've been talking about. Serious or not serious at all. Like, we are that big of a problem that you have to take us completely off the channel.
You know what it is?
Zero sense to me.
You know what it is? It has to be this. And tinfoil hat, whatever.
What?
Last probably 3 to 5 episodes, there were like 3 preachers. We talked about Jesus. We talked about God. We talked about it a lot. It has to be that, because I post show notes.
Elaborate.
I post show notes. I give context. I add shorts, and in those I'd have my hashtags to gain traction. And people joke about like spiritual warfare and the darkness and the evil.
That's real, though, man.
we made stupid episodes before, like stupid that could probably
They
be
don't know, though.
scamming people out of
Yeah.
an hour of
Once
their
again, brain
life,
cells.
which is very precious.
But now, thanks to editing and all the hours that you put in, the only episode they know is the very first episode that's listed on Spotify. So anyway, the 13 before that didn't count.
Yes, that part.
But it's like,
I think there's some truth to that, and I think
I agree, 100%.
if you're a person who're like, dang, they got me, I have to quit.
Yeah, maybe I
Or
need to
you'd be
stop
like,
talking about, you know,
yes,
babies dying or anything like that.
or be like,
Or it's like,
yes,
I'm
or
causing people to
Jesus.
be violent towards a group of people. Yeah, or Jesus, sorry. Hey, man, I went off the deep end there. But think about all like the big divisive social issues that we're going through right now. They have to deal with biblical foundations that are being dismantled. So McKenna sent me this video. Did you see that preacher that asked ChatGPT what he would do, or if you were the devil, how would you basically win people, or not win people? Like, how would you basically win the war? And it's like, I would dismantle the household. I would dismantle the family. I would make people believe that they hate each other more than they love each other, aka use bots to get me and you to think that there's thousands of people on our respective sides that hate the other side. We don't know why, because a bot told us and, jabbed some comments and got us extremely emotional. But just think about all the things that are being attacked in the social fabric that make people mad. They all go back to biblical principles, I would say, like things that are taught foundationally in the Bible that are the foundation of our beliefs, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. And I might be just full of it, but I think that like it had to be a contributing factor to us getting canceled on YouTube. Don't worry, Good Times, Bad Friends, loyal listeners. We're back. I fought the good fight. All our videos are back.
Hey,
Everything's
and
back on YouTube. And we
they
won.
apologized, and you're like, dang right.
They did apologize.
Because good wins and evil has to suck it.
What did they say?
Hey, and then I want to play that video about ChatGPT because it's just like it's so mind numbing. What was the quote too? It's like hell is basically like living in the most comfortable jail cell because you don't know where you are until the door slams.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. So they were like, the people that have the money and the success and everything that they have in the world, it's like, don't pay attention to that because they're basically living in their own jail cell. They just haven't shut the door yet. And you're like, wow. Dude, how about thinking about the phones and confusing the kids and everything like that? Because and we were talking about this the other day. I think it was in our Sunday school class. I made a point about that. It was like one of the most controversial things that Jesus did in his time was put how much how to word this, like kids were looked at as like a nuisance, essentially. Like they didn't have a lot of rights and they were young and they were almost like an annoyance to people. But then that's when Jesus made it a point to tell everybody that they were like children and that children were inherit the earth and everything like that. And so now, like when you hear little things like that, it's like they're going after the foundations of like everything that basically people of biblical principle live by.
So
Yeah,
why would you not put them in a child's classroom, the 10 Commandments?
Yeah, see, you hear all that stuff and you're like, okay, something's better than nothing. I agree. And then once again, maybe that's just me being too controlling, but like, I think that's the best start that you can have because now, like you said,
with you.
I know, dude, but it's just like, God,
Just tugging on.
I
know how to prod that.
tugging on
fire.
the heartstrings right there. You do. But like you and we can have a conversation about anything from putting the 10 Commandments in the classroom to Michael Jordan and LeBron floppy James and be totally okay about it, But I think it's like okay, so let me ask you a question about this because I feel like, and I think once again, if you spend too much time on social media where there's 80% bots anyway that are probably telling you things that aren't true because you go out in the world and it's not as racist and divisive and violent as you think.
Correct.
But like to me, how do you kind of re-swing that pendulum back to the middle of getting people to not only believe that, but maybe put the phone down and try to live that too?
It and this is me gonna eat my words. It is that easy. Just delete the
100%.
apps. Just delete the apps. It's that
Put your phone down. Yep.
It's that easy. Go sit outside, look at a body of water with the sun going down, and it's that easy.
Well, that's what they were saying is I was listening to this one guy on the podcast and like every 6 months he gets away up to like Montana and he goes, when you go sit like in the wilderness in the sun where there's no noise, there's no pollution, there's no people screaming at you, there's not a phone to look at, that is when you feel your absolute freest. He goes, there's a reason why nature programmed us to feel that way. So it's like, I think at a certain point, like whenever we went to New York, it was the most stressful experience in the world because you felt like you were in this cage and there's people everywhere, there's screens everywhere, there's noise everywhere. Like it never got below to where I could just hear like a constant noise in my ear. So I think people are maybe suffocated by the fact that we're around maybe too much stimulation. And I think, like you said, like it's just as easy as get away from it, either with someone to go have a conversation with or yourself at the end of the day. Like
Just
start there.
it's and it's not easy by any means. Like we're like someone said once, like it's obnoxious that we're calling these things phones. I've never
100%.
used it as a phone. I hate talking on the phone. Don't use it as a
That's
phone.
so true. Like that's
Like
the last thing that you think about using it for is actually
it's
what it's
not
called. Wow.
it's not a telephone. I've
Yeah.
never
Wow.
used it as a phone. And like I deleted Twitter once the Charlie Kirk thing happened because I saw the video over and
Dude.
over and it was
And
bad for
that's
my
what
mental health.
like in
It
that
was
video, like you're getting desensitized to things that you should
yes.
not see.
We
A
should
human
never see
being that
that.
like unless you're at war, you should never see something like that. Like something that intense. Like it makes an impression on your brain 100%.
Yes, and it's not easy because you want to be in the know about everything that's going on. Especially we
Yep.
work with kids and we want to I prideful. I want to stay trendy. I want to be able to have conversations with these kids about current topics.
Yep.
But like why? Like what's
Yeah.
like I deleted Twitter and I just moved to Facebook and like TikTok. Like it's that easy to just delete it and move on and talk to people around you that and talking sucks. It's scary if you're not used to it.
No doubt.
Starting a conversation with a stranger, like they don't want to talk. They're a busy life. I have a busy life, but like take a risk. If you're gonna take a
No
risk
doubt.
on, I don't know, every day's a you were lucky to be alive. Might as well pull someone up with you that day.
Well, and that's what too. It's like you got to be able to find a purpose for something because you go through all this, you feel negative about yourself, you don't have good interactions with people. Like, what do you have to lose at that point that you can't just try to have a conversation and connect with one person in your life? Like, find the person that seems the happiest. Find someone that walks by you every single day and they have a smile on your face and just say something to them or match their energy just one time. Because if you're willing to, like you said, go out there and do something uncomfortable, the feeling you have after that completely absolves the fact that you were avoiding that for so long. So once you take that risk, once you say something or do something, now, once again, I think you have to emphasize the fact that you have to start with yourself, get those things away that make you a worse human being, and you know exactly what those are. You can't stay within those things of the phone or the thoughts or the interactions or emotions that keep you being a negative person. And then from there, I think you reach out and find someone and have a conversation, wave, smile. Like, even if you don't want to say words, that's okay. Just wave at somebody. Like, there's so many easy ways that you can take that first step to be able to make yourself better in all facets, if that makes sense.
I'll end with this. I liked what you said about New York and how it was just so loud and so like so I don't
Just like
know.
constant noise and
Correct.
people, and like you're surrounded by chaos all the time.
And I want you to listen to this episode. Do this first, people. Listen to our episode. And then when you're leaving
Like and
work
subscribe.
or going to work early in the morning, turn off the radio. Like, let your mind wander. Like, wherever it goes, like, wonder why it goes there.
No
And
doubt.
I saw this thing that was interesting that was like, if you're praying, like, this is a crazy concept and it doesn't make sense unless you do it. Like, set up a chair and then set up an empty chair right across from you.
Yep.
That no one is sitting in, and then pray like Jesus is sitting there, like God is sitting
Yep.
there.
Just have a normal
Like,
conversation. Like,
yes,
you don't have to go ask for anything. You don't have to make it formal or use a specific type of language. Like,
ramble.
just talk like your best buddy is sitting right there.
Yes, call
And
him
just have a
dude.
normal conversation.
Call him bro.
Yeah. You could really say anything you want. Like, as long as you're talking and having that conversation, that's where you need to start. Don't
And
worry about what you say or how you say it. Just say it.
it
That's all
becomes
you have to
more
worry
real
about.
than looking up to the ceiling or to the sky when you're like
No
looking
doubt.
at a chair right in front of you, like someone is sitting there and you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you've never done it before, it's going to suck. You're not going to know what to
No
say. You're
doubt.
going to try to be
And you
formal. You're
and you
going to
may
just
there you go.
talk.
Yes, but at least you did it and you went through with that action of, I put myself in a situation to where I have to initiate conversation. I have to say what I feel. I have to let my mind wonder what you were saying. And everything that is said in that moment, even if it's not a lot, comes from the heart. It comes from a good place. It's not fabricated. It's not generated. It's not ran through ChatGPT. It's not looked at 1,000 different times. And more importantly, it's not judged by anybody. So who cares? Because at the end of the day, even if it is judged by someone, those opinions literally have no physical impact on your body. Like, that's what I've never understood. And I think a lot of people live and die by what people think. But at the end of the day, like, if you think I'm stupid, that literally does nothing to my actual measurable objective IQ. It's just a thought and a feeling and emotion that you have that should have no effect on me physically.
And this is going to get clipped because we have billions of listeners.
Billions.
Prayer,
9
prayer
billion.
is a skill. Okay, it's not a skill. Prayer is not a skill. It's a muscle. And if you keep training this muscle, like, there's
100%.
no good or bad prayer, but the confidence that comes with it will increase.
Yes.
If you think back to college in your first interpersonal communication class where you had to give a speech at the front of the class in front of all these people, and it was really scary.
So
But the
nerve-wracking.
more you did it through the year, you became comfortable. You never got good at it, but you became more comfortable doing it. And that's what it's like.
Well, and that's the best explanation of what life is. Life never gets easier. You just get better at handling those hard, adverse situations. Like, you handle adversity better and you're able to respond quicker and better. Therefore, you tend to react better to every single thing and handle every single situation that you're presented with after that a lot better every single time. Because like you said, practice, like any practice about what we're just talking about right here, like I can go practice curling. I'll never go to the Olympics. But practice in being a better person will always make you a better person.
And
Because
there's so many
practice is
resources.
practice.
Like there's so many, like we have,
No
we
doubt.
we're reading a book together kind of, and like we have, like, it's
I
just,
know. I have it right here, actually. I
there's
read the first one, and we do need to get so much better about that. For
so
sure.
many resources. But you know what the hardest part about our podcast is right now? It's just like there's 3 of us sometimes. And
Isn't that right, Alex?
I think what we need to do right now is have a hard conversation. All
Yep.
3 of us present. What is Alex's role going forward? Let's dive into this for accountability purposes. Alex, what do you got?
What's the floor's yours, buddy?
Alex,
You and your internet connection. Let's roll with it.
so Alex isn't here.
Okay, and next, if you haven't picked up on the awkward silence by now, Alex is not here.
Gosh. Okay. So does he become Jamie? Is he just our
fact checker?
Our fact checker? Do we?
I don't know. Is he our version of AI?
Alex, you're making us have to have some really hard conversations, and we're gonna have to take this
We're gonna
offline.
make some decisions with you not even being here. Sorry, buddy. That was solid, man. We may have to. I mean, I know we're coming up on our 50th episode.
We are.
And we will be in person for that episode.
Yeah.
And it will go as long as it needs to go.
We have a location.
And it will go as long as it needs to go for us to have the best treat for our fans that we can possibly have. We will do everything to make that the most successful episode by far.
This, like, I want it to work every single episode. But these episodes to me are so fun. Like this was just so fun, and nobody cares what we think about things. And I still had a really fun time.
And I'm still like, man, I can't wait for people to hear this and see what they think or anything like that. It's like when me and you were going back and forth, like I feel like people, like thousands of people are watching us like, ooh,
Trouble in Paradise.
And then they always go back to,
Alex is in here.
Good times, bad friends.